Hello, welcome to the podcast. This is Rachit, and today's topic is ship life. Let's begin. Welcome. Finally, we're back. It's 1 week odd now that the previous Undshunned Thoughts video was out. Well, this one would have been a video podcast. Somehow, the equipment that I have is not supporting me. There's some faulty equipment because of which my camera is not getting positioned well, and hence we are still working with audio. And once we get everything cleared, I think mostly in the next 2-3 podcasts, I think things should work fine, and we will be able to see each other. Well, not each other, but you will be able to see me. And then we can talk in comments if at all you feel like you want to say something to me. So, today's topic, as I've already mentioned, or it might be mentioned in the thumbnail, it says ship life. Again, it's in lines with the previous video that we had. The previous video was about cruises, the cruise industry. Now we are going a bit into the life that is there on board. It affects, I would say, being offshore or being in the middle of the ocean. It does affect your state of mind, number one. I make a lot of these sounds, is what I've just found out in my first podcast, and I'll try to avoid these sounds. But until then, many people on board I have come across in my experience that I've had on cruise liners. I have come across many people who find reasons or give excuses for their behavior, calling it as ship life. If you work on board, if you work on a cruise liner, or if you work on oil tanker, or if you're working on any class of merchant navy ships, you would have heard this term before. Many people have their own explanation. I have mine, and from what I've seen in the past, my opinion is slightly different to the opinion of the world. The behavior of a person which is different to what he usually would be, is attributed to the term ship life, or the slang ship life as people call it when they work on board. Now, if that is not your usual behavior, then is it right to attribute it to you being on board, or to the behavior that comes out when you're only working on ships? I don't think so. That is my perspective. That I don't believe that being at one particular location changes the person that I am. Now, I'll try to explain what I feel about it. It's an easy blame game where people easily attribute it, as I've already said, we've already discussed. Generally, people use this term ship life, and they try to manipulate, they try to take advantage of people around them or the surroundings. And when they're caught, they say, "Oh, it wasn't me. That is not the person who I am. It is just the ship life that is getting this out of me." That is one. The second thing is, it's easier for people to hide their true identity. It is easier for people to just blame something which is very superficial, something that as such is non-existent in their own lives. And that is how it comes very easily to them to just put the blame on something completely inanimate, something completely illogical as well at times. Now, I have come across many situations where, in a way, it is an international crisis where people from different countries, they use or they manipulate people from other different places. Given an example, I would say I think I can name my country definitely because that is where I'm coming from, and that is the behavior that I have seen uh, in many people. So I had a very good friend who was of Chinese origin, and she was friends. She was in a relationship with a person who was from India, and after, as in, I found her on ship. We started speaking. We became good friends. Then I found out that she was in a relationship with the other guy, and I found out about that guy as well. That guy, as per the girl, is single and is very much in love with that girl and would be marrying her very soon. But when I found out who that guy was, he was already married at home back in India, and he was already married with two kids and a decent family. So, why do you think that guy was lying to this Chinese girl? That is where I feel people are taking advantage of the other person not being from the same nationality. If it was an Indian girl, that person would never risk it because they think that an Indian girl can reach their place. They can find out what he actually is up to. But a Chinese person may or may not ever get to come to India, so he does not have any risk there. The other thing that is there is maximum he'll be spending 6 months to 7 months on board. So if something goes really bad, if he thinks he's getting stuck somewhere, he'll just request a different ship and they'll go separate ways. This, for me, I think I would completely believe that this is something equivalent to a crime where you are toying with somebody's emotions, you're playing with somebody's heart, you are giving false hopes to somebody who is from somewhere where you have no idea the life that she's seen, the life the other person has seen, the life or the upbringing the other person has had, the pressures of life that the other person has. So you give the other person a hope, and then at the end of 6 months, you just break those emotions and move away. So that is what I feel is bad, and that is what I feel is something that has to be avoided. The other very prominent issue that is there on board, which people feel not just as an Indian or a Chinese or a European, when you're coming from anywhere in the world, people believe that there is some racism that is there when you're going away, when you're trying to work outside your home country. Now, based on my experiences of racism, I would say I will never say that racism is something that is non existent. I understand people have faced this issue, and I completely understand that it is how a person might feel and how bad it feels to be cornered or to be set aside from a particular group, and it is wrong. I will never support racism as such, but I'll tell you one instance, one example of I I don't think it is racism, but it is a racial stereotyping in a way. I must say. So, given an example, I was in Valencia. Our ship was in Valencia, and me with a group of friends, we had gone out for an Indian lunch. I had some Europeans with me. They wanted to try Indian, so we found out an Indian restaurant. Well, Indian cuisine restaurant, I'd say, and we went dining. The lunch was brilliant. The food was nice. The food everybody enjoyed. They had a very good time. And when we come to the billing part of it, well, I because it was a group of 8 to 10 people, and the bill was roughly somewhere around 250 to $270. I don't remember, 250 to 270 euros, but I don't remember it exactly. But I think I had left roughly around a 50 euro tip, which for me is not too much based on the service that we had got. But the waiter went to the manager. The manager came with the check, and he said, "So you're leaving behind 50 euros." And I said, "Yes, I understand. That's based on the good service that you guys have given us. We really appreciate, and that is the token of appreciation from our end." The other person said, "This is the first time I have ever seen an Indian tipping good. I have never received anything more than a single euro or some pennies for the service that we've given. So thank you very much." And I won't say that I'm trying to show Indians in a bad light, but I am trying to explain here that this is an example that someone has set before I had reached there. And based on that experience, the other person will always treat me, because he does not know who I am, how what kind of a person I am, how I behave. So the understanding or the experience that a person has with a previous person of a similar race, of a similar nationality, that is how the other person is going to behave with me. And if nothing I can do about what a person has done before, I can at least do this much, that the next person, the next Indian that goes there after me, will be looked in a different way, will be looked in a better way. Not that I'm just trying to change something and with the power of money. No, I'm not doing that. It's just that if I can think differently, if people can think differently about me, then I'll try and make them think differently about someone else as well. So that is a brief of racism. We definitely can talk over it for hours and hours, but we won't do that right now. So, getting back to the previous discussion, the ship life explanation that people do give, I always believe that it is not a different person that you portray when you're on board. It is just your true self. It is how you really are as a person. Because when you're back home, you're around people that know you, and then you are around those people for most of your life. So you have adapted to live in a particular way. You've adapted to follow a certain steps, certain behaviors in front of other people. But when you go on a ship, you suddenly feel that nobody knows me here. Nobody is going to know me here for 6 months or more, or even if they know you, you can get those things changed. People change shifts, people change companies, a lot can happen. So, on board is what you come with your true behavior at. That is where what you really are is showcased. And not just me, I'm sure 100 other people do realize this, they do notice you. And so if that is the way you are, if that is who you really are, don't just blame it on something as illogical as a ship life. That is who you were. That is who you were from your childhood. That is something that you could not show to the world. Your true colors you could not show to the world, and right now you could. So next time, please don't tell me it's ship life and that is how you're behaving like this. We will continue this. We will continue other discussions. We'll talk about various other topics. And please do let me know how you feel about it. Whatever your thoughts are, please write it down in comments. It makes me feel very good. It makes me feel that somebody is listening. So please do type in your comments and we will talk about it as and when we take it ahead. Thank you very much. See you in the next podcast. Well, I'll you'll hear me in the next podcast. Let's keep it that way until we see each other. Good day. Have a nice time.